Mountains in the ancient times were considered deities of sacredness, passageways through eternity and passageways for the gods to contact. But after conquest, the mountains kind of shifted into sources of extractivism, sources of wealth, and sources of fake hope. This extractivism and use of the mountains really left us with no richness for the Bolivian. La Paz, if I could describe it in one word, it would be capital in every single letter, vibrant.
La Paz is honestly a pretty incredible place. It's almost like you wouldn't believe it existed unless you saw it with your own eyes. Built into the steep slopes of the Amazon basin with the Altiplano above it and just massive mountains. Yannick's a downhill racer, but I've actually never met him in person. Then he messaged me on Instagram and invited me to come to a downhill race in Bolivia at a trail center that is completely built, managed, and maintained by a group of Cholitas.
Cholitas are basically the concept of the native indigenous woman. The Cholitas working on the trails is also one of the most unique things that we can find within our projects.
Me llamo Julia Amaru Castillo. Nací en Río Abajo, pero vivo aquí en Ñuñumayani. El pueblo es muy lindo, la tierra es virgen, es muy lindo, da todo bien.
Cholitas at one point were denigrated. They were the lowest of the society scale during the colonial times and not being able to participate in a lot of leadership. In Ñuñumayani, this is completely the opposite.
Walikiwa naira katarun tasino, muestras hermano, muestras hermana. Nayan sutejaste María Porfiria Mamanisalas. Nayakuna Carlos vicepresidenta. Chahan akarus kiras pantia, chahan akaras sigan aptap hitas ma hermano okna parte hatarut asiwiris ma hermano.
When we first reached the communities with the idea of trail building, they sort of looked to us with a strange look because in their history we were trying to go back in time. These communities throughout history have encountered a lot of fake proposals of development that left them with nothing. The challenge is for them to start preserving their land.
All the trail centers that we visited, they were about 45 minutes, an hour outside of the city, and just everywhere you look is incredible.
Pura Pura forest is super valuable for a place like La Paz, which is so vibrant with urban activity. To have that within the city, just as a disconnection, is a very important feature. Pura Pura, after a long history of just being left out, abandoned, and then left for some sinister activities, some municipal governments took the initiative to restore it and make it a green space for the city. Pura Pura just gives you the chance of having that short encounter with nature within the city. So mountain biking for Pura Pura really is bringing a new opportunity for the forest to restore it with new characters, full of youth, looking for outdoors activities and sports. I think there's two main pillars that we need to work on. One is unity, colonization model that was introduced to communities. It would generate conflict, divide to rule.
De mí, como es mi primera vez trabajando acá con los hermanos y trabajar para abrir las aperturas para las bicis. Es bien bonito, me he sentido como en familia, todos trabajando, unidos.
And the other thing I dream of is if we could permanently employ people.
Siempre la gente se está yendo a la ciudad a trabajar. Por si nosotros tuviéramos algún así turismo, y este ciclismo que tú siempre organizas, si habría más, entonces también la gente joven también se quedaría también aquí en el pueblo.
Ukana nagarwal gusta abjito hiwa kuta abjina nagakam ukuru nagam asiru tabharaktua nagarwal uga ihunit uga gusta abjito hermano.
Yeah, the relationship between the race series and the local communities that host the races is really special. All the riders pay a fee to use the trails, and that money the community can choose to use however they like. In the past, they've used it to create a freshwater reservoir, a new roof for a community center, and that's up to whatever the community feels that they need. And then also on the race day, the community comes out. They share food and music and dance and like their community traditions with the mountain bike racers.
As of now, what we're trying to do with these bike parks communities is we're trying to point out mountains as sources of cultural wealth, sporting wealth, well-being wealth, and just nature preserving itself for the further generations.
Es aprendizaje de esto de estas experiencias también comparto con mis hijos. Mis hijos también son jóvenes, les he compartido y lindo también que quieren venir ellos a ver, a participar, pero
I feel amazingly grateful that I can show you the two sides of the coin. We're trying to make the two sides of the coin meet, and we're deciding and accepting who we are as Bolivians with all the dramatic historical facts that Bolivia has with it. My name is Yannick Wende. I am a very proud Bolivian cyclist, born and bred. I have been able and lucky enough to race and put my flag all over the world, but really nothing compares to coming back to my home in the Andes and riding my home trails.